In this lesson, we'll go over how to implement color management in your workflow. If you haven't been properly introduced to ICC color management yet, I recommend that you start by watching the mini tutorial titled Color Management before you watch this particular movie. We'll start with setting up the color settings, which sets up the whole working environment for your color work in Photoshop. It's an extremely important step, so please do this the first chance you get. By the way, if you happen to use other Adobe applications besides Photoshop, then you might wish to set up your color settings in one central location by using the Adobe Bridge software. Then all you'd have to do is to click on a button that says Synchronize All Adobe Applications in the Bridge software. But I'm going to show you how to set this up inside of Photoshop. First, go to the Edit menu and choose Color Settings. And you can also use the keyboard shortcut of Command-Shift-K on the Macintosh or Control-Shift-K. And you'll be confronted with a big and overwhelming dialog box that might look even more terrifying if you have the More Options button checked. So you'll want to begin by making sure that you're viewing fewer options, because we can do everything right within this particular set of features just to keep things simple. This dialog lets you perform three basic functions. It lets you assign default working spaces for each of the color modes that you'll work in, such as RGB or CMYK. A working space happens to be a theoretical color environment which is designed to give you consistency for your viewing, editing, and printing of colors. It's a great solution that allows you to edit your colors in a device-independent color space. So you're not only working with the colors that were captured by your scanner or your digital camera, or for that matter, you're not limited to the colors that you see on your particular monitor either. So standard uniform working spaces are a good thing to set up for your color work in Photoshop. So this is where you set up a default working space. And this choice is used when Photoshop encounters a file with no embedded profile. In other words, the working space that you specify here is used internally when Photoshop has no other clue about how to represent the colors present in the images that you open. You can also set up default working spaces for modes that you'll convert an image into. For example, if you always print to a certain 4-color standard, then you can set it up here in advance. Another function this dialog performs is to set up color management policies. These have to do with what behavior you want Photoshop to follow when it comes across an image with embedded profiles, or what we call tagged files. Should Photoshop preserve the embedded profile? Should it ignore it or convert the file to the default working space? Life would be great if there was just one answer to what you should set. Different workflows require different choices here. But the safe choice is to set it to preserve embedded profiles and then decide on a case-by-case basis. And when you get comfortable with managing this aspect of your color work, you can always come in here and set up different policies to streamline different projects, as I've done here. And later on, I'll show you how this particular custom setting was made and saved. Then at the bottom, you are able to set up warnings for situations when a file is either missing a profile or it has a mismatch to the default working space that you've specified up here. And finally, we come to my favorite part of this dialog. It's up at the very top. Here you can load a color management preset, which either shipped in Photoshop or one that was given to you by your print provider or your client. And boom, the whole dialog box is configured in one stroke. These presets are a great place to start, and you can always customize it by changing any of these settings and then renaming the preset to reflect your own project or workflow.